there, you wonderful listeners. His name is Aaron, and he doesn't have a straw for his McDonald's drink.
And his name's Tommy, and he needs you to sign his petition to bring back Pepsi Blue.
And this is the Superpod Saga.
Oh, episode 19.
Episode 19. We're almost up to 20, which is twice as many as 10.
That's true. That is twice.
Yeah.
Squared, one might say.
Yes. No. 10.
Well, no, not 10 squared.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Nope.
Nope. If you're a first-time listener to this podcast, this is the podcast where Aaron and I bring a different topic of discussion to the table every week, video game related, and then we discuss it to death until everyone is just bored and miserable, except for us.
That's right. Sometimes we lose our voices after one of these episodes.
Seriously, sometimes I really do. Where can people find us on social media, Aaron?
Oh, yeah, we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, pretty much everywhere. But just search for Superpod Saga, and you'll definitely find us. We're also on YouTube, but you can just check the bio in any of our other social medias. Find our link tree, and you can find us anywhere you want to follow us.
We are all over the place, and we're spreading rapidly.
Just do not follow me home, please.
That's too far. But I like our little community we got growing there. We're getting some really good Twitter conversations lately.
Yeah, those last two tweets from you have just been blowing the hell up. Holy shit.
I like you commented on one of them. Since this post is blowing the fuck up and it's got like 30 likes, we're just like everything's on fire for us here. We're like, what do we do?
It's like it's like when somebody runs into a newspaper manufacturer, like, stop the process, stop the process.
We got 30 likes. Holy shit. But we're here to talk video games, and you picked the topic for today. So what are we talking about today?
Damn right. We're talking about canceled games today.
That is a good topic, because this is a really good topic. This is going to be one of my favorite topics, because like when people talk about video games, we obviously talk about our favorite games and what makes them good and stuff, but like canceled games is like a whole different territory.
It is. There's quite a few that I as soon as I said our next topic was going to be this in the last episode, I jotted down like 5 ideas immediately, and I did quite a bit of research. Yeah, I'm super excited for this. I'm so ready.
I went to Wikipedia and like just searched canceled games, and there was a game that like I had in my head that wasn't even on there. And I was like, well, this is a terrible list then, because you'll remember when we get to it, but yeah, it's kind of tough to find info about some canceled games.
Oh yeah, there's a couple on my list that have they didn't make it very far at all, so you won't find anything really about them, but
Ooh.
I included them just because it's cool.
Yeah. How about you start us off?
Okay, so the first one, it's kind of a two-parter, mainly because the second part is one of those ones where they didn't get very far with it, but I'm starting us off strong with Earthbound 64 and Earthbound GameCube.
Oh, they had a GameCube one too?
Yeah, or they almost did. But yeah, basically, Earthbound 64, it was announced. Bless you. It was announced.
I muted my mic before I sneezed. I thought I did at least.
Well, I heard the whole ass thing.
Okay, maybe I'm not talking into my microphone at all.
Yeah, it was announced in 1996 for the N64, good old N64, and then not too long after it was announced, they were like, oh, actually, it's going to be for the 64DD, which was this big old floppy disk drive peripheral for the N64. We'll get into more of that later, but that game was in quite a bit of development for a few years because their team or the director of the game, Shigesato Itoi, his team was just super inexperienced with making 3D games and developing anything for the N64. But then the 64DD released in Japan in December of 1999, and it was just a big old flop. Like they only sold about it was like about 500,000 units or so, And then yeah, just in August 2000, they officially announced that it was canceled. They were shit canning that goddamn thing. And of course, since Earthbound 64 was being developed for the 64 DD, they had no choice but canceled the game, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the game was eventually revived in 2003 for the Game Boy Advance, but it was in Japan fucking only.
Wait, really?
Um, yep, Japan only.
So it's
But
so it's Mother, because it's Mother there, right? Not Earthbound.
right, yeah, it's Mother 3 in Japan then.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yep,
I've heard so many memes about it. I didn't know that it actually was a Game Boy game.
yep, yep. Only in Japan though on a GBA, but there are a couple of ways you can play it in the US, of course. There's this awesome fan translation that like if you emulate the game, you can just download the game and then apply a patch to it so everything's in English and it's actually really good. And you can also go on places like eBay and buy a little bootleg copy of the game for the Game Boy Advance actually that comes with that English translation, and it actually is awesome. I mean, obviously there's no other way for us to play the game because
Yeah,
Nintendo is a bunch of owners, but
yeah.
god damn it, I'll pay $20 for a bootleg copy. Sue me.
They make the
Sue me,
best
Nintendo.
games and then refuse to sell them to you anymore.
Exactly. And then all of their other lesser known games or games that they just don't give a goddamn about that are wasting away on like the GameCube and stuff like that. Just make those available on modern platforms or I'm gonna emulate them.
It's
Sue me.
so. It, this isn't on topic, or I guess I don't know.
Right.
It's weird that they've brought basically every single Wii U game to Switch, but only the Wii U library.
That's true. Yeah. I think there's maybe like one or two that didn't make it over there, like Game and Wario, but yeah, like
Game and Wario.
but yeah, there's just a bunch of different screenshots and game trailers available for Earthbound 64. Um, Probably the easiest place to find them is to just go to unseen64.com, and there's maybe like one or two trailers for the game, but there's just a buttload of different screenshots, and basically what you see in Mother 3 is basically what you saw on Earthbound 64. A lot of it did carry over, like a lot of the enemy designs and character designs were the same. Obviously, one's 3D, one's not. And yeah, it was just what might have been, like Earthbound on game or oh my god, Earthbound on N64.
Was there
Actually,
was there a screenshot of the battle? Because I only played like a little bit of Earthbound 1 or 2 or whatever, and like the battle screen caught me off guard because it's just like a blank screen with an unmoving enemy. Did they have any screenshots of the battling in Earthbound 3D?
um, I
Because
don't believe so.
I
I've just seen like the environment and like the character
yeah,
models
that's
and
what I've
stuff.
seen too. I'm just
Wait,
curious
I
if
did,
they would have had that be like a 3D arena like Pokemon, or if it would have been still just a motionless screen.
I I mean in Earthbound like the background screen or the shit in the background kind of moves and like wobbles a little bit, but I kind of I kind of hope it still be like the same and just be like, well, no, I guess the enemy would just be like 3D model, but it
Yeah,
moves and then yeah, but yeah, on the Earthbound GameCube,
yeah, I've never
was
heard of this.
yeah, it didn't make very far at all. It was proposed to Nintendo in 2003, but was canceled basically. Well, I guess not necessarily canceled because it wasn't really in development, but they were just like nah. Um, and on the same website before unseen64.com, there's a few screenshots of it, and it looks actually pretty cool because like the graphic style was like felt made and kind of like
Ooh,
what is it like Kirby's Epic Yarn kind of looking, and it looks and on the world screen and stuff too. They're like clay models and shit like that, and no trailers for it sadly, but all the screenshots look super cool. Rip
dang, that's sad.
sucks.
That's sad. And we still so that was the last actual Earthbound game was Earthbound 3 for the Game Boy Advance.
Yep, they've yeah, and then that I don't think they've ever had any plans ever of making another one. They're just kind
Crazy.
of leaving it as it is, which is sad, but I guess good because I'd hate for them to try to make a new one and then run it into the ground basically.
My wife's Smash main for her whole life has been Ness, and she had
Ooh.
no idea that he was in anything outside of Smash until earlier this
Oh.
year.
Oh my
When they
gosh.
launched Earthbound on the Switch online, I started playing it. And she was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's Earthbound. It's the game Ness is from." And she was like, "Ness is from a game?"
Well, what the fuck? What'd she think he was from? He's obviously from
He's
a
from
game. Is he from
Smash.
Smash Bros? Yeah. Oh, all right. That makes sense. Like the Fighting Polygon team.
Yeah. Oh man. So I my first pick is a game that is the complete opposite of tone, everything. It's a game called Whore of the Orient. Do you,
Oh,
have
I've
you?
heard of that.
Yeah.
I've
Okay.
heard of
Good.
it.
Good. It was a game that was being developed by Team Bondi or Team Bondi. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. They were the developers behind LA Noire, which was published by Rockstar Games, and
Oh, yeah.
they they released a remake of it or a re-release or whatever, and like a lot of people just see that as a Rockstar game, but it was developed by Team Bondi, which is a team out of Australia, I want to say. And LA Noir was one of my most looked forward to games because it was like a detective game and it was totally open ended. Like you it wasn't like a checklist of things to do at a scene. It was like up to you to find things, and then they had their interviewing where people would lie to you and you were supposed to read their
Mm.
facial structures because it was like one of the first games to use facial scanning for the actors and stuff. And it was a I was let down by it. It didn't live up to all the hype and the technology and everything, but I was willing to give them a chance on their next game, which they were going to call Whore of the Orient, and was scheduled for a 2015 release. And
Great name.
Rockstar dropped them after LA Noire because of unethical working practices,
Oh,
and they couldn't find anyone else to pick them up. Really, they eventually found like a Australian film company to take the team on, but they eventually just like ran out of funding. They canceled the studio, they canceled the game, and all those. It's just gone now. It's just gone. There's like one video of gameplay, but that's it. And it's just that's a game that we'll absolutely never see again. Like there's always a possibility that Earthbound will come back, but there is no way in heck we're ever going to see Horror or of the Orient or what it could have been. And like this, it's not a game that people are going to remember or anything. But LA Noir at the time had like real actors. It had the facial scanning. It had a bunch of really cool technology. And it would have been great to see what they could have done, given a second stab at making that kind of game.
and was it the same exact kind of game too, where it was like open ended and you
Yep.
did all the same stuff as LA Noir? Okay.
Yep. Except it was in where was it? Is
Oh, was it in like?
1936 Shanghai.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah. Oh, another thing about LA Noir was they like totally recreated LA. Like it was the actual streets and buildings and everything, but like
Yeah,
1950s. So if they could have done that with Shanghai, it would have been super cool.
that would have been super awesome. That reminds me of Sleeping Dogs. That's
Yeah.
minus the voice crack there because I'm going through puberty. Sorry, everybody.
Finally.
Um, yeah, Sleeping Dogs. That like, well, I guess that probably didn't accurately recreate Hong Kong or whatever, but
Still
that
work.
that, that show was super cool.
Probably could have come up with a better name though than Horror of the Orient.
All right, yeah, that
It's
was
not the best name.
hell. They could have done what Shanghai Noir or
Yeah.
something. Kind
Seriously.
of keep it in the series or something.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been
Shanghai
great.
1935 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, speaking of horrors, the next game on my list, next game on my list is Scalebound. I hope that
Mm.
you've heard about this
Oh
one.
yeah. Oh yeah. Of course.
Okay. I can tell you exactly where I was when it was announced that they were canceling it in 2017 or whatever. I was I came home for my lunch break from work and I was sitting on the floor and I was eating a peanut butter sandwich and I was just watching TV and I pulled up fucking Facebook because I'm an idiot and I saw the game was canceled and I was like, no, no. I was so mad. But essentially it was going to be released with Xbox One and PC. Then it was
Mm-hmm.
in development for about 4 years or so, and it was being developed by Platinum Games, who made like Bayonetta and
Platinum.
Vanquish and all sorts of cool shit. And they had so many different like gameplay trailers and other different
They showed a
trailers, and
lot of
actually,
this game.
yeah, it looked super awesome. And then they had the online multiplayer where you can have like up to four other people and their dragons, and your dragon could like change and evolve depending on like how you upgraded him and used him and stuff, and you could control him with the AI. And oh my God, it looks so good. But then they canned it, and apparently, according to Mr. Hideki, I'm gonna slaughter his name, Hideki Kamiya or Kamaya. I suck, but basically said that part of it, or part of the cancellation, was due to his team's inexperience with creating games with online features.
What were the
But
online features going to be?
the online multiplayer,
Oh, of course.
yeah, the co-op with like four other people, because he had that boss fight against that giant like crab monster thing, and there were like three other Drews and Thubins that showed up, and God, that would have been so badass. But nope, nope, canceled it.
According to Wikipedia, they say that according to Platinum, several elements of Scalebound were reworked to appear in Bayonetta 3. So, kind
Ooh.
of getting some sort of Scalebound at least. But it's not
And
the
they
same
said
thing.
they kind of also said the same thing too with Astral Chain. They said that some of the
Mm.
elements from Scalebound went toward making Astral Chain, which I could kind of see, but it's not the same. God damn it!
No, no. It's still cool. Like, that's probably the best case scenario for a canceled game is if some of it lives on elsewhere, but it's
Right.
still not the same.
I love you, Scalebound. I miss
I
you.
Oh, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. Speaking of games that were announced in 2013 and then canceled, I'm pretty sure this one was at the same E3 or whatever. This one was a big one for me. It was Deep Down.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
that one was announced in 2013 for the future console, the PlayStation 4.
And
And
they this one was actually canceled. I thought it was just still like
I
in
mean,
development. Oh,
I do need to, yeah, it hasn't officially been canceled. We'll get to where it's at currently, but it was announced 9 years ago for the PlayStation 4, and it's
oh,
now 2022, and we're on to the PlayStation 5. But
oh my God.
that was back when I was a PlayStation gamer, so I watched the E3, the Sony stuff with like I was super into everything, and the graphics for the cutscene it showed. I'm sure it wasn't actually the game, but like it was just mind blowing seeing the fire effects because it's like a Nightman fighting a dragon, like kind of Dark Souls styles, I suppose. And there's lots of fire effects and there's rubble going everywhere. And then near the end, it has like it goes to like a computer like matrix screen and there's like people typing in chat boxes, so it's like what the heck is
Ooh.
this? Is it a dragon game? Is it a future game? And then it just disappeared forever. It's seriously like we never got anything else about it, like nothing official from Capcom. That's another thing is that it was Capcom, and I don't know. I just kind of expect when they say things, it's gonna come out, you know. Um,
And what was it supposed to be like a Souls like kind of or
let's see. It's a single player or up to four player co-op multiplayer dungeon crawl, similar to
uh,
Dragon's Dogma.
oh oh that's right. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, Dragon. That's a good comparison. Um, so let's see. In 2018, Capcom extended the trademark for the game, which that's like the big sign of hope for people is like when they extend the trademark. But that was 4 years ago. Um, during an interview in 2019, the let's see who's this man. I don't know. Some guy said that the game has not been completely given up on, but then that guy left Capcom in 2020, and the status is unknown. In September 21, okay, I'm going to just read this quote. In September 2021, former chairman of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios, Sean Layden, stated that he had no idea what happened to Deep Down.
Like he lost it in the couch or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. The chairman of Sony Interactive is like, I don't know what happened to it. I put it in a box, and that box is gone.
Must have fallen out of my pocket. Sorry, chief.
I mean, we extended the trademark just in case we find it, but I don't know.
What the fuck? How? That's so wild.
But yeah,
Oh, we just lost it.
it hasn't officially been
Sorry.
canceled. 9 years later, it still hasn't been canceled. But come on, come on.
They might as well. I mean, what the hell is the holdup with this goddamn thing? It's just copy and paste Dragon's Dogma over it, and
Yeah,
I'll play it.
just give it different skins. Come on, developers, it's not that hard. I actually tried. I downloaded Unity once because I was like, I want to make games. I couldn't even like get through the tutorial of making a ball that moves on the ground. It was impossible. It gave me a whole new respect for making games because
Oh my god, I'm drooling. That's so funny. Man, I remember one time I tried to make a game in I forget what no, it was Project Spark. If
oh
anybody remembers what the
oh
fuck that is.
wow
Yeah,
wow.
I tried to make a game in that. I was like, I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna make a game too. And then it turned out like ass because I couldn't figure out how to program like textures or a whole bunch of other shit. I was like, nope, nope, done.
Project Spark announced at E3 2013.
Gosh. And
2013
it
was a
was all
big
right.
year for game announcements, apparently.
That was such a weird game too, because
Damn,
they're like,
Project
"Oh, you
Spark.
make your own games and shit," and then they were like, "Oh, there's a Conquer expansion pack where you can make your own Conquer games." But it's like, why wouldn't you just
Wait,
make
really?
a new Conquer game? Yeah,
Who
yeah, look
asked?
it up.
who
Yeah,
who asked for a
that's a real
Conquer?
thing,
Who out there is like, I want to make my own Conquer?
right? Everybody, if anything, they want you to make us a Conquer game, you sons of bitches.
The
So,
game is still playable
is it? I thought they shut it down.
with reduced features. You can play
Uh,
locally save games and create new games, but can't share them. PC
oh,
users can share individual level files directly.
well, shit. Gonna make
Wild.
my own Conquer game. I know what I'm doing tonight.
Have you seen the things that people have made with Dreams? The
I've seen a few of
PlayStation
them,
game?
yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's insane. Someone remade the scene from Jurassic Park where the T-Rex busts through the wall and it looks just like the movie. Like it doesn't even look like a video game creation tool.
Oh my God, this is off. This is getting way off topic. But did you see that post about the dude that made he made a scale or not a scale replica of the entire universe in Minecraft?
Yes, I believe I did
Ah,
see that. I I don't know.
I would not have the patience for that kind. I barely have the patience to like build a little hut out of dirt
Yeah,
and then go from there.
I am just not creative enough to be able to make things in those kinds of games. The one time I played Minecraft for an extended period of time in college, which was like 2 weeks, I made a pyramid and I just kept like digging and making it wider and digging and making it wider. And I was like, cool. And then I was like, what if I made a reverse pyramid on top of this pyramid? And so I did that for a while and then I just kept going and then that was it.
That's cool. You made the Leviathan from Hellraiser. That's sick.
Don't even know what that is, but I sure did.
You sure did.
Oh my
Speaking of
gosh.
Hellraiser,
No, no,
the
no,
oh no, go ahead.
no. um,
Go ahead, tell me.
this just
Let go
reminded
of me,
me.
please.
It reminded me of in high school with the graphing calculators. I would take the because you could kind of draw. You would have the empty graph and you could put black squares everywhere.
Oh
I
yeah.
would I would just start at a point and then draw a line and like bounce it off of the sides over and over again until it stopped, and it would make really cool designs. That's the extent of my creativity. I can't make things like that are cool, but I can just do the same thing over and over again until it's bigger or longer.
We can make up some pretty cool dialogue. That's about it for me for creativity is just um I'm pretty good at just making up ads at like 3 in the morning or like
Mm-hmm.
speaking out of my ass sometimes, but
That's called farting.
oh
But
well, I'm good at that. But yeah, speaking of wet farts, this one is not a wet fart actually. This is Silent Hills. God damn it.
that was on my list.
Oh man. So yeah.
This is good
Uh
timing. This is probably the perfect time to talk about this.
oh my God. Yeah, because they announced all those new why are they remaster or remaking
Five
Silent Hill 2?
games.
Why are they not remastering or doing anything with the first game? The first game
I don't
is
know.
still stuck on the PlayStation. They haven't I mean the fuck
I don't
they
know.
remastered they did the fucking HD. I'm so close to my mic right now. They did the HD collection of 2 and 3 for the 360 and PS3. Why haven't they brought the first game?
Don't know.
God damn, it pisses me
It's
off
so
so much.
random.
But anyway, Silent Hills, y'all. basically being developed by Hideo Kojima and
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro, Norman
Oh,
Reedus, and all them boys.
Norman.
Norman. But I never actually got to play it because I'm the one person in the world that doesn't own a PS4. But it sounded cool because you walk through the haunted house and solve puzzles and little secrets and junk, and
That's
then go ahead.
that's probably my most watched game on YouTube is people playing the PT, the playable teaser for Silent Hills. I
Yeah,
love watching people play that.
there's so much stuff that they crammed into it. So many little secrets and little Easter eggs they crammed into it, and it was great. And I mean, it's so weird how nowadays, if you have a PlayStation 4 with PT still installed on it, you can actually sell that for quite a bit of money
Yeah.
because obviously you can't download PT anymore.
Yep.
But yeah, so yeah, April 27th, 2015, Konami officially announced the game was canceled, most likely because they were being a pile of
Yeah.
donkey nuts,
Yeah.
and Kojima left and all that stuff. But yeah, that man, what could have been though? Because like a first person. I mean, yeah, PT looked great being spooky in first person, kind of like Resident Evil 7 and stuff. But that could have been so awesome. God damn it.
Yeah, this one's different because we actually got the playable teaser of what it could have been like what the tone was going to be, what the spooks were going to be like, and it was fantastic. Like if if you were to, I don't play horror games, but I watch lots of them on YouTube, and if you were to ask me what's the best horror game experience, PT is right up there. And no one can play it anymore. You can't download it. It's not available. Like how wild is that one of the greatest horror experiences in gaming no one can play?
And and to top it all off, it was a free
Yeah.
little demo kind of thing.
Man, I
just
just can't imagine what Hideo Kojima could have done with a horror game.
I know, dude. And with all the cool, crazy shit that he's packed into all of his other games, it's what could have
Mm-hmm.
been. Probably
This
could have
is
had another. Go ahead.
oh, this is horribly random, but one of the YouTube videos I watched for them playing PT, at one point they had to use like the microphone or like a headset plugged into the PlayStation, and they thought that they had to say a name that started with J, so they just kept repeating Jareth, Jareth. And so when I needed to create my first ever D&D character, I named him Jareth because that's all I could think
Jareth.
of.
uh, oh man, I bet they probably could have put another Ape Escape minigame into Silent Hills if it was ever released, because they had that one Ape Escape minigame, and I forget which Metal Gear Solid it was.
Yeah, it was in
But
one of them. Man, that's fun. It was did Kojima didn't have anything to do with Ape Escape, did he? That was just a
I don't think so. No.
okay. Well, still cool thing. Um, let's see. I had Silent Hills too, so I think we're gonna take an ad break. After this
Okay, okay.
sneeze, oh my
I
gosh,
did
it's not
not hear
coming.
that one.
It hasn't
Oh,
happened
okay.
yet. Come on.
Look into the light. Look into the light. Look
Oh
directly
my
into the
gosh,
light.
this is the worst. It's gone now. I think it's gone. Okay, we're just gonna go into the ad read. THQ announced De Blob, currently in development exclusively for the Nintendo Wii and Nintendo DS, is scheduled to spread color and fun to gamers worldwide in February 2008. Developed for the Wii by THQ's Australia-based studio Blue Tongue Entertainment and Nintendo DS by THQ's Helix Studio, De Blob's innovative style features ground and aerial maneuvers and color spray gameplay that take full advantage of the Wii Remote and DS stylus. Players will take on the form of De Blob in a bouncing battle to explore, liberate, and revitalize Chroma City, which has been drained of all color and life by the evil Inks Corporation. Look forward to De Blob coming out this February 2008.
Did they actually answer your email?
No.
Oh, whatever.
That was an unofficial sponsorship.
That's right, everybody.
I
This
got tired of
episode
waiting.
sponsored by the 2008 or whatever smash hit, The Blob.
I actually didn't know it was on DS until I just read this. I had De Blob. I played all the way through De Blob. It was fine.
Much like a lot of other THQ games, like the numerous ATV versus fucking Sean White or whatever all those games
ATV
were.
versus Sean White.
They have ATV versus all sorts of shit, and I played like three of them, and they're always like, at first you'll start playing, you'll be like, oh, I go fast, and then 10 more minutes in, you're like, no,
Sounds like Corvette for the Game Boy Advance.
oh my gosh, I love going straight for it. It's like Corvette for the Game Boy Advance, and I know that you 100%ed it and you probably liked it, but I'm gonna shit all over it for a
I was
second.
a child.
Okay, well, Corvette for the GBA it's like Outrun. If Outrun sucked balls.
I remember they had special challenges at different stages, and like one of them was obviously avoid the cones, and then one of them later was hit every cone. And my little child brain was like, oh, "They reversed it. That's so clever." Thought it was the coolest thing.
Dude,
Nerf
speaking of
roller
cones, we're gonna
the
talk
cones.
shit. Man. Wait, that wait, did you want to do another one since I did Silent Hills?
Yeah, it's my turn.
Okay, I redact my segue. I'm gonna use that later.
Speaking of hills, something that is the opposite of hills are valleys, and a game that has been canceled, probably not officially, but it's gone. In the Valley of Gods.
Never heard of it.
I know, that's okay. So, you may have heard of a little game called Firewatch, right?
Yes, siree.
Yeah, Firewatch is real good. Great story, great exploration. That was by a studio named Campo Santo. It was actually their first game. They were an offshoot of developers from The Walking Dead by Telltale. And yeah, Firewatch, super awesome, super great. And then in 2017, they announced In the Valley of Gods, which was a similar game but taking place in Egypt. And it was, I remember it was the Game Awards or E3 or something, and it was announced for something like 2020, which was absolutely insane to announce in 2017. But still, it was one of my most anticipated games. And then in like 2019 or so, Campo Santo was purchased by Valve, the giant, massive company Valve, and they were like, hey, "Don't worry, we still going to develop it, and Valve's just going to publish it. It'll be fine. It'll be okay."
My ass.
And then they were like, "So the head of Campo Santo, he's going to move over to Half-Life Alyx, and he's going to help out with the story for that, and then we'll go back to In the Valley of the Gods." And as time went on, things just kept slowly disappearing. The people who were on the studio removed it from their Twitter profiles, from their LinkedIn profiles. They removed it from the Campo Santo website, and yeah, it's just been slowly disappearing. And all the developers from Campo Santo are all over different places at Valve, whether it's working on VR or working on Dota or working on Half-Life. It's yeah, they just absorbed them and moved them onto other things, and so we'll probably never get to see it.
That's bogus. The
And
big
yeah,
one.
I remember when they first bought Campo Santo, everyone was like, "Oh, cool! Valve hasn't released a game in years. It makes sense for them to buy a studio to release games since they're not making their own." And then it turns out that's not what happened at all.
That big amorphous blob that is Steam. They just sucked up that fucking small studio, and then yeah, that really sucks.
Yeah, makes me sad.
Was it
But
was was it supposed to be like Firewatch?
yeah, from the one trailer that we saw, yeah, it was a first person exploration, but in Egypt, and I love Egypt. I loved Egyptian stuff.
That'd have been so sick. What the fuck?
Hmm.
What's going on with Valve? Goddamn it! Why don't they made so many awesome games, but now they're just like Steam, and
Well,
and then
yeah, they like turned into like a hardware and peripheral making things because they had the Steam Link, they have the Steam controller, which I've got in my hand right now, and the Steam Index, which is the $1,000 VR setup, and now they have the Steam Deck, which everyone loves, and I want one, but
yeah.
yeah, they're just way more focused on those things. Do you remember Steam Machines?
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna look
They
it up.
they announced them at one point. This kind of counts. This counts as a canceled game. I'm sorry to skip your turn, but this just came up.
That's all right. You drew the skip in
Uh, yeah,
what you
I
call
play the
Uno.
skip card, the Yu-Gi-Oh skip card.
Yeah, you can skip.
um, yeah, they announced Steam machines as like pre-made PCs, but like actually high quality, not like the usual pre-made PCs. You know how they are, like affordable but also powerful was the whole thing, and like they wanted it for people who wanted PC gaming but didn't actually want to build their own PC, but also more affordable. And they did release a couple of them, but they like never caught on because apparently the people who would be into that. There it is. There it is.
Nice.
Apparently, the people who would have been into that are not as numerous as they were hoping for.
Oh, is that what they made the Steam controller for, or no?
No, the Steam
Oh,
controller is for PC gaming, and it's wonderful.
it's crazy. Um, so we're gonna speaking of cones, we're gonna talk about Mega Man Legends 3, baby.
Mega Man Legends Re.
Yep. So it's basically for those that don't know, Mega Man Legends 1 and 2 were on the PS1. Legends 2 left off on this big old cliffhanger because Mega Man went up to the moon to stop something, I forget, and he's stuck up there. He's still stuck up there to this very day, and we got to get him down. But yeah, after 11 goddamn years, they finally we're gonna make in 2019, I should say,
Oh
in
wow, that
September of
recent.
2019, or not 2019. I'm sorry, in September of 2010. They said they were gonna make the game finally for the 3DS
Ooh.
of all goddamn systems. And unfortunately, Mr. Keiji Inafune, who is the head of anything Mega Man, left Capcom in October 2010. But he left his team behind to stay and work on the game. And they plan to release a little demo kind of thing called Mega Man Legends 3, the prototype version for the 3DS eShop. And it would have like 10 or so missions, and it basically would act as like a prologue to Mega Man Legends 3, kind of like that one thing for Metal Gear Solid 5, like the little demo thing that's a little prologue to it. But yep, sadly, looks yeah, July of 2011, game was canceled, and Mega Man is still stuck on the moon.
Oh no, that's sad.
Yep.
So, okay, I don't understand the Mega Man series. I've never played one. So, is the Legends series a continuation of the mainline story, or is it like a separate Mega Man, like a distinct Mega Man, like how there's different Spider Men?
Yeah, there's basically there's different Mega Man series, but like there's the mainline series, Mega Man 1 through 12.
Mm-hmm.
There's Mega Man X, there's Mega Man Legends, Mega Man Battle Network, Mega Man I forget what the Game Boy Advance ones were. V no, I don't know, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of different series and spin-off series, and yeah, they just for whatever reason we're just like, no, we're not doing Legends 3. Fuck that. We're gonna leave that asshole on the moon, guys.
Hold on. I was curious, and I googled what is Mega Man's name, and it says he's known as Rockman in Japan.
Yep, all the Mega Man games in Japan are known as Rockman. And
Rockman?
his yep. And then and then his what is it? His little girlfriend, I think her name is Roll. It's either his girlfriend or
It
the
says
dog.
it
His name
says
is
sister.
Roll.
It says his
Just
sister's name is Roll.
whatever. They'd be rock and roll.
Sister, girlfriend.
Rock and roll, Tommy. I
Rock, huh?
forget what his dog's name was though.
Rockman. He looks way more like a Mega Man than a Rockman.
Yeah, I don't yeah, I don't know why they have to do that. Name him something different here as opposed to over there, like with Resident Evil and Biohazard. And I'm gonna cough my brains out for a second. Did you hear that last cough?
No, I didn't hear any of it. What? But you heard my sneeze when I mute my microphone?
God, I
May
don't know.
Maybe I sneezed so loud that you heard it like actually in the air, like it traveled all the way to you.
Yeah, I secretly planted a cup with a piece of string attached in your house, and I
I
have it
hate
sitting right here.
I hate that that works. I hate that that's an actual thing that works. Just putting a string between two cups and you can talk through it.
Is it like the vibrations on the string? I
Yeah,
don't really
yeah.
understand.
Have you ever actually done it?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I was gonna say you've got children now, so you can, but it doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna do that tonight. Oh man. Like, hey guys, we're making cup
you,
phones.
you want to see some shit? You want to hear some shit?
Like kick over the coffee table and stuff. Like forget about all this other bullshit. Cups and string.
Oh man. Let's see.
Speaking of cups and string,
No, that has nothing to do with cups and strings. So this is my last one because I also had Silent Hills. Um,
okay.
this is another game that will never ever see the light of day. It is the Amalur MMO. You may know Kingdoms of
Oh,
Amalur because we talked about it before, but
made by that baseball star or
yep,
whatever.
Curt Schilling,
Curt
terrible human
Schilling,
being.
my man.
um, uh, so there's we talked about it before, but I actually haven't talked about this part of it. Amalur, before Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, there was just Amalur, and it was supposed to be an MMO in the style of World of Warcraft. That's what Curt Schilling wanted because he was a big World of Warcraft fan. He wanted to make his own. And it was codenamed Copernicus. They had legendary writer R.A. Salvatore write a
I don't know who that
10,000.
is.
He's written. Let's see. Let's talk about him. I'm on Wikipedia. He's a
Hey guys, welcome to the
novelist.
R.A. Salvatore podcast.
The R.A. Salvatore podcast. His most famous and popular character is Drizzt de Orden.
Oh, okay, from the
You
D&D books.
you know
Okay,
who that? I don't know who that is, but
yeah, Drew Stewart, and he's like a what is it? He's a dark elf ranger.
yeah.
He's famous in the D&D storybooks or some shit. But yes, please continue.
Yeah, so there you go. He wrote Star Wars novels as well, it looks like.
Oh,
Anyways, yeah, he wrote 10,000 years of history for the game, and
oh my,
they had lots of plans for this MMO, but they ran out of money. So what do you do when you run out of money? You purchase a different studio who has a game. They purchased a studio called Big Huge Games, who was making a game for THQ, just an action role playing game. And they took it and they were like, no, this is Amalur now. And they just reskinned everything, put some story elements in it from Amalur. Like they made it into the Amalur universe and they released it to the plan was to release that game and have enough money to be able to finish making the MMO. And as you know, that did not happen. They ran out of money. They filed for bankruptcy. State of Rhode Island never got that money back. It was a horrible decision by everyone involved. But the game itself, I loved Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. One of the best parts of it was the universe and the story and the world because it was genuinely unique and super interesting, and I would have loved to have seen more of it. And I've never been an MMO gamer, but I'm open to it. I'm MMO curious. I've tried World of Warcraft.
yeah,
I've tried Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Fantasy Star.
I've never tried Phantasy Star.
Oh,
I've tried other MMOs. I like the idea of MMOs and like an MMO with the Amalur universe where it's like a fantasy stuff and all that. It would have been great. It would have been super cool, but we will never ever see it because of Curt Schilling's horribleness.
damn it! Does he still play baseball?
Oh no, he retired long ago,
Oh, okay.
like in the 90s or early 2000s.
I like the idea that, or I'm imagining this, so to speak. Oh, yeah. So he kicks his way through one of the windows in the break room of that one game studio he took over. He's like, hey guys, your game, no, not your game, my game. Throws handfuls of money at them from out of his pockets. He's like, hey, it's Amalur now. It's my game.
Is Amalur.
Get back to work. Yeah. There's lots of lore. Why aren't you working?
Okay,
Oh man.
okay, so, gosh, how do I even ask this question for you? In the playoffs, Curt Schilling injured his ankle and it started bleeding, but he pitched through it anyways and won the game. And so like there's an iconic image of his foot with a bleeding sock on it. When he was running out of money, he put it up for
Nice.
auction. How much do you think he sold that bloody sock for?
Was this before or after he went broke? Or
After.
no, you said it
Yeah,
was
it was
after.
like
Okay.
during.
Um, I'm trying to like wriggle my way into his stinky butt of a mind. $32,000.
Oh, under $92,613 for one bloody sock.
What the fuck? Okay, I mean, that must have been some shit. Oh my God. Speaking of bloody sock photos, we're talking about Fez 2 now,
Stop.
baby.
Wait, Fez. No, I don't know about this.
Oh my, it barely made it off the ground. So it was announced. Um, it was announced June of 2013 at the end of this Horizon Indie Game Conference at E3 about the time, and unfortunately, a month, just a mere month after it was announced, it was
A
canceled.
month?
Yeah, because and there was no like trailers or images for it. Basically, at the end of the E3 thing, they were like, and Fez 2 is coming. And but yeah, the developer Phil Fish, he's just this big fucking pretentious asshole, and he was getting in this argument. So he made this like Twitter post about the Xbox One's like indie publishing something or other, and then this guy from Game Trailers, this games journalist Marcus Beer, he made a comment about something Mr. Fish said, and then Phil just went off, and they both kind of went back and forth and calling each other out, and then Bill eventually was like basically like washed his hands of the whole thing. He was like, I'm done. Fez 2 is canceled. I'm leaving the industry. Goodbye. And it sucks that this game that could have been badass was just canceled out of spite.
I.
Sucks.
His quotes are hilarious. Fish later tweeted, "I fucking hate this industry," and then
He's
later,
a
"I'm done. Fez 2 is canceled. Goodbye."
Yep, that's it. That was it. He's just a big old fucking baby. Oh
Man,
man.
man, yeah, that's sad. I enjoyed Fez for what it was. It was really built up. I didn't play it for like a decade afterwards, so I had like all this build
Yeah.
up of expectations, and it didn't reach that, but it was still super duper cool having the flippy floppy and the puzzles and stuff.
And it's super cool because back then when it was on the Xbox 360 arcade or the Xbox Live Arcade or whatever they call it, it was back then it was super cool because there wasn't really anything else like that. Everything else was just shittily thrown together
Ah,
little
that's a good
indie
point.
games. And because the other games were like Small Arms, which was like this shitty Smash Bros. But with guns. I forget what all the other ones were. That dumb Toyota Yaris one, I think it was just called Yaris. That
Yeah,
sucked.
there was a game about Yaris.
Yeah, but yeah, Fez really it was actually really really awesome. And then it's crazy to think like what Fez 2 would have been like actually made for modern hardware. They could have done so much sweet shit, but we'll never know because Bill Fish is the old kindergartner in a man's body.
Um, Xbox 360 games. My college roommate had a live arcade game called "I Made a Game with Zombies in It," except it's
Yep.
MAED and like game with a three, and that's like it was just like a twin stick shooter with zombies coming at you. It was like the simplest thing, but like that's where games were at with the Xbox Live Arcade.
Me, me and the Joey that we went to school with, we used to play that all the time. And while you're playing, that song just constantly plays. It just says,
Yeah,
"I made a
yeah.
game with zombies in it." Great
Oh man,
stuff.
this developer went on to make Salt and Sanctuary.
Who, Phil Fish?
No, the developer of
Oh,
I Made a Game with Zombies in It.
I was gonna say I'd boycott the shit out of that. Out of that game, if Phil Fish made it. Holy shit!
Wow, what a jump! I honestly thought that when I remembered I made a game with zombies in it, I thought it was going to be like a one and done thing. But good for them.
Oh yeah, I have one more, and then that's it.
Do it.
You ready for it?
Yep.
Okay. Speaking of Phil Fish, we're gonna talk about Sonic Extreme.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that a little bit before.
Yep, we briefly talked about it in the second episode, I believe, but it started development 1994 for the old Mega Drive slash Genesis for the 32X. But yeah, it's just like every other game that was made for the 32X. They were just like, no, we're gonna move on to the Saturn, the true 32-bit bullshit.
Hmm.
And then they only gave them 2 years to make the game. I gotta cough real quick. So it was planned to be totally complete and ready for release by holiday 1996. So in May of 96, I should add first that they had two teams for the game. It was one team was making the actual like platforming and all that shit levels, and then there was another team that made like the boss battle levels and stuff like that. And there was almost no communication between the two for some reason. Um, but yeah, so in May 1996, they had a playable demo of the game at E3, and it actually looked like all right. It actually looked like it was coming along pretty well. But yeah, they eventually holiday 1996 came up. They still didn't have it ready for release yet for whatever reason, and then they canceled it in 1997, unfortunately.
Hmm.
And and that was to be like the Sonic game for the
Yeah,
Saturn because there
yeah.
was no other original Sonic game for the Saturn, uh, and what kind of like maybe hopefully that would have helped drive Saturn sales, or maybe that would have sold a bunch and helped dig them out of the hole they were in. But yeah, unfortunately, due to sorry, I'm gonna cough some more.
Doesn't pick up any of this coughing. It's ridiculous.
Gosh, it was a loud cough too. But yeah, sadly, there was just this game basically the development of this game went through a whole. Remember those books from when we were younger, the series of unfortunate events?
Yep.
It basically went through something like that. So like the first book would have been, no, they're making the game for the 32X. It's going well, and the Sega's like, no, we're going to the Saturn, motherfuckers. And then they had to basically scrap literally everything they did. It took them, it was like 4 weeks or whatever to get everything back in order and get the game basically started for the Saturn. And then book two would have been that there were constantly department heads that were leaving Sega. They were resigning, so they had to pull people from other departments, put them in charge of whatever position of the person who left. And that sucked because things would just get lost in translation from
Mm.
person to person. Book two, no, book three, sorry, would have been that there were just buttloads of different. Um, I guess everybody basically, how do I explain? Having come from fresh from the Genesis or Mega Drive and working only on 2D games, they were just super inexperienced with making 3D games
Mm.
and just with the Saturn engine in general. And then yeah, just sucked. Super duper sucked.
Yeah, it's I mean, basically everyone was inexperienced at making 3D games at that point. I can't imagine having to go from 2D to 3D. But yeah, I think the thing with canceled games is like there are probably so many that we don't even know about that were being made in the background and canceled before they were even announced.
Right, like we basically quite a few of mine I know were pretty darn popular. So there's absolutely got to be just a bunch of other lesser known ones that got canceled.
I talked to, gosh, I don't even. No, I'm not gonna say it because I can't think of the name of it or anything. So I'm not gonna. I talked to a developer that made a demo for a PlayStation 3 game that was shown at E3 and then it got canceled before it was even announced. But I don't remember the specifics, so I might just cut this. We'll see.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's
All right.
man. I let us know. There's like tons and tons and tons of canceled games. So if you out there have a canceled game that like really broke your heart, please let us know on Twitter. We're gonna ask it too. We gotta make a post and ask it as well, and
Yeah, we do.
and let us know what canceled game broke your heart, and we'll share our heartbreaks together.
That's right. And then if I ever get up off my ass and start putting more of our episodes on YouTube, leave a leave a comment. What cancel game broke your heart? And then, I mean, you can also even just shoot us an email, superpodsaga@gmail.com. Let us know your uh what cancel game broke your heart. I suppose too.
Yeah, yeah. Join and spread our podcast to your friends. We're still waiting for our first listener age 65 and up. We are at 0, and that is unacceptable.
That's right. Make sure to please also leave us a review so we know what we did well.
And I guess what are we going to talk about next week? It is my pick. This one,
Yes, sir.
I feel like my picks are always so complex because it's like I have the idea in my head, but I'm not sure if it makes sense. I want to talk about what are our favorite underrepresented genres in video games? Like genres that we like but don't get enough attention. Like the first thing that comes to my mind for you is shoot 'em ups.
Yes.
Because you love those,
Okay.
but no one cares about shoot 'em ups. I'm sorry, but
I get that. Yeah.
so I
No,
want you to talk about
good
shoot 'em
one.
ups, and I'm going to talk about. I'll come up with stuff to talk about.
Are we going to talk about like the genre and then some of our favorite
Yeah.
games from the genre?
Yep, exactly,
Okay.
and why
Okay.
those genres deserve more respect.
I'm going to jot it down like this: underloved game genres and my favorites of that genre.
Yep, exactly. So, listeners,
Sick.
look forward to that. Tell your grandparents. We're going to talk about it next week.
We need
And
one. Just one. Any one will do.
yeah, seriously, I just want one. I'm going to share it on Twitter, and you will know that you caused that.
Gosh.
Otherwise, thank you for listening. Thank you for being fans. We love you all. You're so great. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
That's right. Bye.